Yo, what is going on, you guys? It's your boy King Sanders here, and we are back with another day of sports betting. This is going to be for Thursday, February 10th slate of NBA games. I'm super excited to hop into it. I feel like we have a very, very good slate today. But first, I did just want to go ahead and say we have some good news, we have some bad news. Unfortunately, yesterday we did not cash the parlay. There was just a couple plays that I thought that were going to be really solid, and they turned out not to be so solid, unfortunately. But you know what? At the end of the day, that is perfectly fine. It's a parlay at the end of the day. It's not really supposed to hit, so I'm perfectly fine with it. But on the good news, we did end up having a profitable day. So at the end of the day, you can't argue with that. It was still really solid. So let's go ahead and recap those real quick. We had DeMar DeRozan over 6.5 assists versus Charlotte. That one did not cash. If you guys were watching the game, DeRozan and LaMelo just decided to go head-to-head. Each have great games. So there's just not much you can do about that. Then we had Toronto minus 9.5 versus OKC. That one actually cashed for us. And Utah Jazz minus 3.5 versus the Warriors minus 110 odds. That one also cashed for us. So we had a really solid day overall. Ended up going 2-1. Hopefully we can bring out the brooms again today. Like I said, I found some pretty good plays. But before we do that, I did just want to go ahead and give a shout out to our new members. Obviously, Richie Sherman, our first ever member here on the channel. And then we had Chief Facer, Professor Pedro, Blame the Flame, and Ray Martinez. Thank you guys so much for showing so much support on the channel and giving it, supporting supporting this wow, I can't talk. Supporting such a small channel. So thank you guys so much for that. So let's go ahead and hop into today's plays. Our first play of the day is going to be the Toronto Raptors minus 6.5 versus the Houston Rockets minus 110 odds. Now, the Raptors, in their last 7 games, they have covered. They've covered whatever the spread is in their last 7 games. And as an away favorite, they are 4-1 against the spread. So anytime that they are supposed to win on the road, they pretty much do. And when it comes to Houston, they haven't been so good. They are just 1-6 against the spread in their last 7 games. So, it hasn't been great for them. And at home, it's kind of even been worse. And if you look at their against the spread record at home, they are 8-17 against the spread at home and 6-15 as a home underdog. So there's not really much you can do about that. The Raptors are really good on the road, and they've been extremely good recently. And the Rockets, on the other hand, are not very good at home. So I definitely think that we see a huge advantage here for the Toronto Raptors. So that's our first play of the day. Toronto Raptors minus 6.5 versus Houston minus 110 odds. Our second play of the day is going to be the Memphis Grizzlies minus 9.5 versus the Detroit Pistons minus 110 odds. Memphis has covered in 6 of their last 7 games. So they've been just on an absolute tear recently. And when it comes to on the road, they've been really solid as well. They are 6-2 against the spread as an away favorite. So pretty much any time that they are supposed to win on the road, they do, and they love to beat up on these teams. And they are 19-8 against the spread on the road this year. So they have been just really, really solid overall. They love to go to opponents' arenas and show out in front of their home crowds. So. And Detroit, on the other hand, they have been really, really bad recently. They are just 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 games. Now, granted, they have had some tough matchups, but this Memphis team is no pushover, that's for sure. And they are just 2-5 against the spread in their last 7 games. And if you look at this bet historically, the Grizzlies in their last 5 games versus Detroit, they have covered this exact line in 4 of them. So I definitely think that they can do it again. This Memphis team is starting to be healthy, and I think that they have a huge edge. So that's our second play of the day, Memphis minus 9.5 versus Detroit Pistons minus 110 odds. Our third play of the day is going to be Bam Adebayo over 17.5 points versus the New Orleans Pelicans minus 120 odds. Bam Adebayo has been on a scoring tear recently. He has actually covered this line in 4 straight games. So I just think that this line is just a touch too low. I feel like it should be around 19.5, so that way you have to pick if he's going to score 20 or not. When it comes to the New Orleans Pelicans, despite them having Jonas Valanciunas, they're in the paint. They do give up the 7th most points per game to opposing centers. And obviously, as we all know, there was a blockbuster trade that was made for the New Orleans Pelicans, and it was to add CJ McCollum onto the roster. Now, I do think that it was a solid move, but let's be honest, CJ doesn't really help their defense like at all. So I definitely think that they're still not a very great defensive team, and they do play at a little bit faster pace than the Miami Heat. So it is going to give possessions to the extra possessions to the Miami Heat as well. So that's our third play of the day. Bam Adebayo over 17.5 points versus the New Orleans Pelicans, minus 120 odds. And our fourth and final play is going to be DeAndre Ayton under 24.5 PRAs versus the Milwaukee Bucks, minus 115 odds. I think this is a horrible matchup for DeAndre Ayton. When it comes to the center position, the Milwaukee Bucks have been phenomenal this year. They allow the seventh fewest points per game to centers and the third fewest rebounds per game to centers. He hasn't hit this line in his last 2 games, and he has hit the over just one time in his last 6 games. Wow, I'm having trouble talking today. But he has hit the over in just one of his last 6 games. And Booker against the Milwaukee Bucks has been fantastic. He has had 30 plus in 3 of his last 4 games versus the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, you might be asking, why are you telling me this when the play is about DeAndre Ayton? Now, let me get to that. Booker has been taking a ton of shots, especially against the Milwaukee Bucks. He really loves to show out against them, so that is going to take away shots from a guy like DeAndre Ayton. So I definitely think that we see an advantage there. And if you look at DeAndre Ayton at home, over his last 3 games, he has not cashed the over in any of them. He is not covered in these last 3 home games. So I think we see a pretty huge advantage there as well. So that is going to do it for me today. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you guys do like, comment, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so you guys know whenever I post. We are now on the road to 4,000 subscribers. Once we do hit that 4,000 subscriber mark, we will be doing another parlay giveaway. So stay tuned to that. Just make sure that you are subbed to the channel, have my noties on, stuff like that. So that is going to do it for me. This is King Center signing out. Peace.